Alex Murdaugh, disgraced attorney, already sentenced to life in prison without parole for the murder of his wife and son. Well, he's going to be sentenced again today, and this time it's for stealing from his former clients. Murdaugh agreed to a plea deal earlier this month that will include a 27-year sentence. Now, as part of the deal, he did confess that, yes, he stole. He confessed to most of it, if not all of it. He said he stole settlement money that he won for 18 of his former clients. This is just one step and really the downfall of a once powerful South Carolina attorney, the family so prominent in that area. It's not the end of his legal troubles even, though. He still faces charges for federal financial crimes and insurance fraud. I mean, these charges, they are mounting, they're stacking up against him. Court TV anchor and former judge, you know her as Judge Ashley Wilcott here with us right now. Okay, so let's talk about this case. There's so many layers to this. So we know he's already sentenced, right? He's never getting out of prison alive.
No, he isn't. He isn't. I think that's the plan.
Right there, exactly. But there's this other sentencing that's happening right now. So why is this so important? Because you hear about the fact that this is for him stealing from people.
Right, so important. So a couple of things. First of all, thanks for having me as always. But, you know, he is serving 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole for the murders. But what if there's a new trial? What if those get overturned? Because we know there are issues surrounding that.
There's a repeal right now, in fact.
Exactly. And so the sentencing of this is crucial because these victims are victims who knew him personally, who relied on his trust as an attorney to believe that they would receive the financial settlements and outcomes. And guess what? He stole it. He looked them in the eye and said, oh, yes, you've got $2 million from this. And then he stole from them. So it is crucial. It's also important to these victims that he not get out of jail because they want to see him serve real time. So 27 years is the expected sentence. Of that, 85% to be served. So 23 years in jail. And I think that's something that they can hang their hat on, so to speak.
The thing is about this case that I find just fascinating, not only the fact of what happens, because this family, I mean, this family was the family in that area in South Carolina. Everyone knew who they were. Essentially, he preyed on people because of his family name. He made them trust him to handle their affairs, and then he betrayed that trust. What do you think this case, not just for this area in particular, but for everyone, when they see something like this, they have to remember they need to know that even someone who they trust, they really need to double check everything that's happening.
That's a really great point. So a dynasty of power, and all of his ancestors, they were prosecutors in this community. So not only was it a powerful family that people would go to use as attorneys, they believe and trusted in them because they were the state prosecutors. So as a result, I think that's the loud, clear messaging. I don't care who somebody is in a community, what you think they are going to do for you. You have to follow up. You have to double check. You have to hold them accountable for whatever it is they were supposed to provide to you. Because again, you're right. He stole from the very people that trusted his family, believed in the family name to say, he'll always do me right. Of course, I can trust him. Don't trust your attorney. You have to double check.
And this is coming from
an attorney,
right?
And a former judge.
You know,
but I'm here to tell you, you got to double check.
Certainly, and also, I mean, there's so many issues this brings up about the corruption of power, about how keeping a family in power over and over again. But we'll talk about that at a different time. Let's talk about the murder trial, though. We know there's an appeal, being filed right now. Murdaugh's attorney says a court clerk tampered with the jury, so they're now seeking a new trial. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think this argument is even valid?
Absolutely, if the allegations are true. So the things that the defense says Becky Hill did and said to influence the jury to have a guilty verdict, if in fact those are true, I believe there's a possibility for a new trial. So it doesn't mean automatically there's a new trial. It's whether or not it affects his rights, whether or not it was prejudiced by those actions. And if she in fact did these things, I think it's a good possibility we're going to see a new trial in this murder case.
Which really will be something to see, because it's almost like this first trial was a mock trial. So now his defense can see what didn't work and maybe plan different strategies, or I mean, certainly they're going to plan different strategies. So what about these other trials? How will those trials affect this? It actually makes these other ones even higher stakes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a do-over. You get to start over from the beginning with the insider baseball of what the prosecution did, how you can defend it differently. And that's why I think it's so important to keep in mind this sentence that's expected to be 27 years for the financial crimes, they want that locked down. So if there's a new trial, if there's a different outcome, he is still in jail. Now remember, there's also the federal case to which he's already pled guilty, so you have that sentence. And then there are a couple more criminal charges out there in the state court that he'll have to deal with. So the goal is, I think, from my perspective, they want to keep him locked up. Period, right now, so that if the murder goes away, which I don't think it will ultimately, but if it does, they still have him in jail.
You know, and all the while, the only surviving member who's not facing legal trouble at this point
is Buster.
Is his son, Buster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always great to talk to you. Such great insight. Court TV's Ashley Wilcott, former judge and anchor, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.